Hello YouTube, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. Good evening to all of you in YouTube land. Right now the time is approximately 9:58 p.m. Eastern Time. You know what that means. It is the late night edition at Robert Alvarez's The Tarot Man's YouTube studio. Right now also, the moon is currently waning in Aquarius and technically is void of course, because right now the moon is waning in Aquarius, void of course, but will officially be waning in Pisces as of tomorrow, Monday, June 28th, 2021 at approximately 1:51 p.m. And the sun is transiting in Cancer, the sign of the home, the family, actually the sign of the home and the mother, human and divine. Some of you know that for the last several years, pretty much when it comes to rings and bracelets, I'm sorry, let me transition into the show and tell portion of the video. So, which of course means that Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos, will be doing some close-ups. So most of you know that when it comes to my rings and my bracelets, I pretty much wear the same ones all the time. But for the last several years, when the sun transits in a new or different sun sign, I wear a corresponding pendant. So I am going to have Drake do a close-up of this gorgeous, gorgeous sterling silver pendant that I only wear when the sun is in Cancer. It is one of my personal favorites. It is set with moonstone, but not rainbow moonstone, which has become so common these last several years, but it is set with, these days it would be called gray moonstone, but gemologists call it schiller. And it's not a coincidence that in the Chaldean Hebrew Kabbalah system of numerology, the number 2 corresponds to the sun sign Cancer and its ruling planet, the moon. And you'll notice that it's set with 2 silver gray moonstones. What I especially love is that it looks, depending upon the lighting, the larger one is darker than the top one. And one could argue it looks like a stylized version of a crown of Isis. But it's been one of my favorite pendants for years. I think I've had this pendant for at least 13 or 14 years. With regards to the tea that I'm drinking, thank you, Solavi, for the wonderful recommendation. I am drinking Yogi brand Honey Chai Turmeric Vitality. This is, and of course, Drake is going to do a close-up of the box because that is a specialty of Drake's. And I happen to love this tea. This tea is definitely a medicinal type tea. This is not a, ooh, this is a lovely tea. It's so delicious. No, it actually has, I mean, it tastes more palatable to me because I added a lemon slice, lemon juice, and honey. But it's definitely one that I need to drink more often so that I can feel the stoking of the fire in my belly. And of course, I can experience more joyful vitality. Not to mention the fact that medicinally speaking and botanically speaking, turmeric is an excellent anti-inflammatory. I've been reading more about anti-inflammatories now that I've passed the age of 50. Actually, there are certain pieces of information that I feel like I need to know more about because I've passed the age of 50, like my A1C level, my non-existent cholesterol level, because people, you know, every time I go to discuss lab tests and blood work results, they always mention my cholesterol, but the doctors never tell me what the cholesterol level is. But they always say, well, it's not even anything to talk about. So I always ask, well, why are you bringing it up? If there's nothing to speak, by the way, my cholesterol level, for those of you that are wondering, is under 200. It's actually in the 180s, I think, or 170s. See, it's not important to them, it's not important to me, but it's definitely not in the danger zone. I'm digging this tea a lot more. Anyway, so I am happy to resume doing this more than a walkthrough series featuring the Pride Tarot. And of course, it is no coincidence that in many parts of planet Earth, June is Pride Month. But that is, as I'm fond of saying, another topic for another video for another day. So here is my incredibly beat up box of the Pride Tarot. I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up. It's gone. And it's falling apart at the bottom too. Which is why, after this video, I better hold this the right way. Firm. The cards and the guidebook will be in this beautiful pouch. I'm holding it the wrong way. This beautiful pouch. I will have the link to the Etsy shop that sells this pouch in the description box. So for those of you who want to give your copies of the Pride Tarot a beautiful rainbow colored pouch, you will have that option through this Etsy shop. Anyway, so the card we're going to be focusing on in this video is the Nine of Swords, which in this tarot deck is illustrated by Christine Zillich. I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the back of the card design, which I love because love is love. Or as I've seen in the past, love is love is love. And I'm going to have him do a close-up of the front of the card design. This is a very non-traditional Nine of Swords. And I really do love this Nine of Swords. It's very light. And it's, it's funny, I would normally say it's lighthearted, but because swords traditionally correspond to the element of air and to mind and the imagination, I would say that it's light-minded. It's not necessarily airy, but it's definitely light-minded. So, turning to the trusty guidebook. Okay. Nine of Swords by Christine Zillich. Fear has many faces. Existential fears, anguish, fear of loss. Events that have burrowed deep into our soul can trigger fears. The effect on the body and mind can have devastating consequences. This state is often accompanied by doubts, despair, and insomnia. And believe me, I can talk about insomnia. That's a whole other video, but I digress. In my vision, as in Ms. Zillich's vision, I have again used images of nature to suggest emotions. In this dark forest scene, rise 9 dead tree stumps, create an eerie night mood. A woman is leaning against one of these trees, wearing a nightgown and holding a light blanket. Indeed, insomnia is one of the traditional meanings of the Nine of Swords. Sleepless and plagued by worry, she appears like a ghost. Actually, she does look like this waif-like spirit in the card. Sleepwalking in this desolate forest with its decaying plants in the undergrowth. The fear has gripped her so strongly that she seems to dissolve. This confrontation with fear enables the release of negative energies. I deliberately chose this card because I am very involved with fear and panic in my work with horses. And it's so funny because in the Native American tradition, the horse represents power and by extension, empowerment. You know, it is an interesting card. Of course, one of the other traditional meanings of the Nine of Swords is nightmares, because sometimes sleep is so fitful and unrestful and unnourishing that it causes nightmares. You know, I've never really had that many nightmares, personally speaking, but I don't look at nightmares negatively. I look at nightmares like there is something that your unconscious is forcing you to pay attention to and help you dissolve, help you completely eliminate that problem or challenge. And it could be that there is a need to confront something in the nightmare that terrifies you. I myself, this is in Ms. Zillich's own words, I myself am on a journey. being a seeker of living and currently working in a foreign country, open to everything new that wants to enter my life. I was born in Germany. I studied graphic design and animation film there, then worked as an art director for many years, and later as an illustrator. I work very intuitively with internal images, which I then convert to art, often without making sketches first. I'm impressed. The choice of colors plays a major role in my illustrations. Colors arouse deep emotions. They can evoke memories from the viewer and release both positive and negative energies. The way I use them, the colors communicate with each other. I always use my own emotional color language in the illustrations to explain the meaning of each card I created for Pride Tarot. Incidentally, in the description box, I will include the video links to the other cards that we've discussed thus far in this More Than a Walkthrough video series that she also illustrated. Christine is the creator of the Zillich Tarot, published by US Game Systems Incorporated. And yes, that tarot deck is on my to-buy list. Because I haven't done a video with this deck in so long, I actually forgot about that. Her Instagram address, her Instagram account name is listed here, and I will make sure to include that in the description box as well. Anything else for her, I will also include in the description box. When it comes to the Nine of Swords, I really don't have that many intuitive meanings for this card. But keep in mind that in the numerology in actually many numerological systems, 9 is the number of completion. So one could argue that when the Nine of Swords comes out in a client's reading, it is an indication that something is about to be completed. Something that has been either plaguing the client's mind or troubling their mind. And it could be strange dreams that have been leading them to a very challenging place. I almost forgot. I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of my beautiful Pride heart-shaped pin. This is from, a website called, I think it's called Starfucker. It's a bit of a porn website, so I'm not going to include it in the description box, only because I have successfully avoided having any kinds of strikes against me as a YouTube channel content creator, and I want to keep it that way. So those of you who are interested in finding out the name of the gay porn themed website where I purchased this, you can email me directly at the Tarotman, TheTarotman @excite.com, and just put Progressive Pride Heart Pin or Progressive Pride Pin in the subject line. That way I'll make sure to include the link, because if I include the link in the description box, it might get flagged for pornography, because there are explicit images on the site that leave nothing to the imagination. Let's put it that way. And they feature naked men. Let's put it that way too. But yeah, I love that it's the Progressive Pride flag. For those of you who don't know this, the Progressive Pride flag is the one that has the black and brown stripes. I love this one because it also has the color stripes for the transgender flag, or for the transgender pride flag. The fact of the matter is that all of the members of the LGBTQIA+ community are all important and all valuable. I know some people don't think so, but trans lives do matter, and black and brown trans lives especially matter too. Anyway, so it is such a pleasure to resume this More Than a Walkthrough series of videos featuring the Pride Tarot, which is a collaborative deck which was published by US Game Systems in April of 2020. So it was published 1 year and 2 months ago. And when I do complete this More Than a Walkthrough series, I will be casting the cards for this deck. And There are 3 spreads that are included in the guidebook. I'm actually torn between the 2 that are exclusive to this deck, because I think the one that is not exclusive is the Celtic cross spread. So, you know, and you can find videos of that anywhere on YouTube and off YouTube. But anyway, YouTube, as always, thank you so much for honoring who I am and what I do. I wish all of you and yours many multiple blessings of wealth, health, and happiness, and stay tuned for the next video.